So today we've got a quick little stretch for when your hips and legs are feeling a little bit on the tight side, which could happen over the break. So we're going to come on down to the mat and just take a seat on our mat, stretching the legs out nice and long. And we're just going to take a nice little forward fold here. So nothing too crazy, just folding forward over the legs. And we're just going to hold it here. Beautiful, just keep on holding here. Shoulders might come from side to side slightly, so a little bit of a side to side through the shoulders can start to get into the back of the hips slightly. I know that's where I feel it. Keep a little bit of engagement through the core and belly. Then coming on back up, and we'll bring the legs out nice and wide here, so into a nice wide V shape. I'm going to take a little forward fold here, which is going to get into this center part of the legs. And once again, we're going to take a nice long hold here as well. Just keep holding there. And then slowly take a nice big deep breath in, coming on up. Take a nice tall seat here, so bring the spine nice and tall. Taking just a couple of big deep breaths in here. And bringing the legs back in, facing them on down the mat again. I'm going to offer you a couple of different options here. So first option is just to bring the left leg up and over the right like so. And take a little fold forward here. Second, if you feel like you've got a little bit more space, your right leg can come, or right heel can come around towards your left butt, as long as you can bring both hips back down to the floor. So you've got these legs crossed over here, and if you've got the space, you can take a little bit of a forward fold here. I know I don't really have the space, so I'm going to stay quite tall and upright. This is still getting a big opening, big stretch through the outside edges of my hips. If you feel like you've got the space, you can take a little bit of a fold forward. And these nice long holds can really help to open out through some of the muscles. Nice long held stretches. And then coming around onto the other side, because all too often we take our stretches and we hold them for a really short sort of period of time. And it doesn't give the muscles a chance to really open out and really elongate. So I'm just changing over to the other side. So my right leg comes out over top. Left heel curls around towards right butt, as long as you've got space to actually bring both hips onto the ground. Otherwise that left leg can stay out long. If you've got the space, you can take a little forward fold here if that works for you. And coming on up. From here, stretching the legs out nice and long, and maybe taking a little fold forward in a butterfly position. So soles of the feet to touch, knees out nice and wide. You can take a little fold forward here. And then coming on back up again, stretching the legs out nice and long. I'm going to take a little tiny rebound pose, just lying down onto your back. Been doing quite a bit of forward fold here, so just this lying back will give the back a chance to settle slightly if all those forward folds are starting to give you any grief. You shouldn't be pushing your body into any shapes that don't really work for you. Taking this moment just to let the back settle. You can windscreen wipe the knees from side to side if that feels good. You can have the legs stretched out long. Taking a couple of big deep breaths here. Maybe take a little roll through the wrists if that feels good. And then from here, slowly coming on back up, and we'll take a little half saddle pose. So I'm going to hook one foot back around behind, just like so, and I'm going to take a lean back here. So if you need to, you can sit up on a block or a cushion or something like that, and then slowly start to lean back to get a stretch through the front of this bent leg. Obviously, if you're super flexy, you can take both legs back around. I'm not quite that flexy, so I'm not going to go there. I am on a little bit of an angle here, but some people might find they can come down to both elbows without any issues. I'm going to stay up on my hands today, just because that's kind of where my body is. Just be really mindful of the knees in this one. I know my knees can sometimes get a little bit sensitive in this one, so if you've got any knee issues, just be really careful of this one. If you like, you can actually pause and hold for a bit longer. I'm going to come out and change over to the other side because, as I said, my knees do get a little bit sensitive sometimes. And coming on up, stretching the legs out nice and long again. And then from here, bringing the legs out nice and wide again, folding one knee or one foot in towards the opposite leg. And we're going to reach the hand out towards this leg, coming up and over the top, getting a bit of a stretch through the side of the body. You can have hand onto the top of the thigh and use your hand to support your head here. And then coming on up and changing sides. And then lifting on up and coming on down to our back. Take a little hug of the knees in towards the chest and stretching the legs out long. Now, if you've got the time here, you can stay here on your back, taking your Shavasana. Otherwise, if you do need to move on with your day, take about 3 or 4 breaths here. And then slowly rolling over to your side. And then coming up to a comfortable seat. Thank you for joining me this morning. Have an amazing day.